chat, where you're tuning in from, and thank you for being here today. I hope I got my camera set up right, because the last time I noticed that it was really high and I actually used the rear camera, so the angle was a little off. So today I'm actually using the rear camera so I can actually see myself and whether I'm looking into the camera. Okay, so let's begin. So today my topic is on where ultra high net worth people actually gather in St. Moritz, Gstaad and Courchevel, and the etiquette and social cues that actually get you invited into their groups and even introduced. Okay, so before I go into places, let me just give you a backdrop. So you are actually the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. And you know, every room or every circle has an energetic baseline. So, you know, on my previous live, I actually spoke about private jets. So I'm actually going to use travel as an example where different baselines are. So for example, you could have a group or room of a baseline, let's say like here, and they probably sit business class or first class, right? And then you go to another room or another circle where their baseline is actually here. So this circle would probably be sitting private jets, and their conversations will be very different, and it might even seem very far-fetched to the group here because their baseline, their energetic baseline is actually lower, and their conversation topics, their perspectives are completely different from the group here. So what you want to do is to actually, if you've heard of the saying, actually be the dumbest, always be the dumbest in the room. So what it means is that not for you to play dumb, but actually for you to be around people who are more successful and smarter than you. So if you're here, then you definitely want to put yourself here, even though initially you might feel discomfort, but that's because you're actually expanding your limits so that you normalize the conversations here. So the conversations here could be very huge visions. They can be talking about space travel. They can be talking about colonization of planets. They have like really huge visions. They are sitting private jets, super yachts. So initially you might feel uncomfortable, but once you normalize it, it's quite hard to go back here, right? So my point is that you want to expand vertically and not laterally. So most people have the conception that you have to like go to different cities or you have to specifically go to different countries. But they actually forget that if you actually move up vertically, they already have extreme mobility where they could be in one city today and they could fly to another city tomorrow. So actually by expanding your baseline and raising the norm or raising the bar, it actually contracts the world into like a global village where the countries and cities are simply just neighborhoods, right? So you want to think from the point of expanding vertically and not expanding laterally or horizontal, because people have the misconception that when they try to go to different cities to find this kind of clients or this kind of high net worth people, they forget to actually break into the circles vertically, and if you break vertically, the lateral is already included. So yeah, so today I'm going to talk about St. Moritz and Gstaad and Courchevel. So I actually just wanted to remind you that it's important to expand vertically. And I'm just giving you like 3 of the stations, right, where it's winter. They are coming in and out of these places. So you also want to look at the billionaire and multi-millionaire calendar of the year, the social calendar, where this high net worth circuit actually, they congregate in different places at different times of the year. So you want to be at the right place at the right time so that you're able to break into these circles and level up. Okay, so I've spoken about raising your energetic baseline so that you're able to change and shift your perspective to normalize what they are thinking, to be able to absorb their assumptions to what's normal, and also pretty much to have the same, almost like the same size of vision, because their visions are so huge that it really expands yours. So they actually shift your thoughts, your mindset, and they also shift the way of you taking different kind of aligned action. So that would be breaking vertically instead of breaking laterally. Okay, so for my part on St. Moritz, so let's see which one we're going to start first. Okay, so as you know, St. Moritz and Gstaad is in Switzerland. It's in the German part of Switzerland, and it's a very luxurious, I would say, it's quite a high-end alpine skiing village for ultra high net worth to zip in and out during this time of the year in December. And then Courchevel is like in France. It's more of like the more open and fun out of the three, but the other two is a little more refined and serious. So you really have to be able to adapt to the vibes and the atmosphere as well as the etiquette so that you're able to fit in to the vibe and atmosphere of the place and you don't stand out for the wrong reasons. Okay, so for St. Moritz, probably people who have gone there for watching this, they know that Bedroot's Palace is the #1 place to be. And for Bedroot Palace, there are actually two places there. The first one is Renaissance Bar. And Renaissance Bar is actually one of the most consistent concentration point of influence in St. Moritz. This is the place where, you know, the people who come into St. Moritz with their private jet, this is one of the places that they hang out. And it's very classic, it's understated, and it's very heavily relationship driven. People come here because they already most likely know 70% of the people in the room, and they remember each other by names when they come in December every year. So this is not really a place for you to dominate the conversation, but it's actually a place for you to be very understated and to speak softly and just let familiarity do the work. So people might have to see you like more than once there, and once they're familiar with you, then they open up. And also, as you know, like the Swiss culture compared to the French culture, the Swiss culture compared to the French culture is stereotypically, like I don't want to generalize, but there are exceptions to the norm. The Swiss culture is, especially on the German part compared to the French and Italian parts of Switzerland, it's a little more insular. So you don't really like force your way in upon the first meeting. Like you really want people to familiarize themselves with you, and that's how you break the ice. And for the second place I have is King's Social House. That's a place where King's Social House is also in Bedroot's Palace, and it's actually a little more fluid than the first place that I mentioned, a Renaissance Bar. Because here, introductions, they actually happen more organically, and conversations, they are more loose slightly. If you're actually very observant here, you could actually be able to be the first one to strike a conversation. And the third is one of my favorite places in St. Moritz is the Kulm Hotel, Kulm Hotel. There's this place called the Sunny Bar, and it has a lot of history to it. It's a historic social hub. It attracts people who value tradition, sport, and continuity of their legacy. And the most common conversation topics here are ski talks, shared schedules, and seasonal familiarity that carry a lot of weight here. So this is a room where light conversation goes far. The fourth we have is Suvretta House. You could go to Anton's Bar or the lobby, and Suvretta actually attracts a quieter, more contained clientele. The bar and lobby areas are ideal for conversations that feel natural rather than intentional. And presentation really matters here. You don't have to be formal, but you just have to be polished and be respectful of the space. And lastly, if you love horses like me, you have the Snow Polo World Cup and any associated hotel evenings to that event. So during the St. Moritz Snow Polo Week, St. Moritz actually compresses socially, where hotel bars, private receptions, and event gatherings are dense with legacy families and global capital. So access matters here, but you could also gain access by the way you behave when you're at the Snow Polo World Cup. I actually have a friend from Singapore. She went for one of these events, and she just happened to be standing at the stand watching the horses, and beside her was a group of friends, and they were pretty receptive, and they just invited her for dinner on the same night. So here is really a place where you could easily integrate into other groups. So you also, when you go to a place, you not only have to be very mindful of the time of the year if you really want to have a highest return on investments for your time to be at the right place at the right time. You also want to understand the social landscape really well. So St. Moritz is actually institutional wealth, and you'll find old European aristocracy, multi-generational industrial families, global ultra-high net worth families who return every winter, and a smaller number of billionaires who adapt to the culture. So old money sets the tone here in St. Moritz, and the status is actually signaled through being recognized by the staff, being called by your surname, being remembered by your surname when you come back every winter, returning year after year, and knowing when not to speak. So I actually said that this is pretty much an old money place. So this is not really a place for you to be flashy, and it's definitely not a place to be the disruptor. If you want to be the disruptor, then we have Courchevel for you. So the next one I'm going to talk about is Gstaad. So Gstaad is, so the top 5 places in Gstaad would be the lobby bar at Gstaad Palace. The Gstaad Palace lobby bar is the social anchor of the village, and it's relaxed, it's central, and it's where plans quietly form. People here, they expect discretion and confidence, since again, it's part of the German part of Switzerland. We also have Gstaad Palace Green Gold Club, and it's one of the few nightlife spaces in Gstaad. It's very intimate, it's energetic, and it actually has this very warm and cozy vibe where people already feel at home. So that's a great place to go to. The third is the Alpine Gstaad, which is the Alpine lounge in that hotel. And it's actually one of the most socially balanced rooms there because it attracts art patrons, discreet financiers, and families who value calm luxury. So conversations here are very unhurried and they are very measured. And the fourth we have is Le Grand Bellevue, the bar in Le Grand Bellevue. And Le Grand Bellevue's bar is open, it's approachable, and it's flexible. It's ideal for soft interactions that don't demand forced continuation. And this is a good place to practice ending the conversation first or leaving well. And the fifth place is the Gstaad Promenade. The Gstaad Promenade functions as a social corridor where luxury shopping here is slow, it's casual, and it's highly interpersonal. Brief interactions like a smile, a comment, then moving on are socially fluent here. So for the social landscape in Gstaad, you have relationship wealth, you'll encounter old European money, royals and philanthropies, ultra-private families, creative and cultural elites, where old money dominates completely. So very similar to St. Moritz. New money do exist here in Gstaad, but only if it behaves like old money. And most of the status here in Gstaad actually comes from simplicity, familiarity with the rhythm of the life of that village, as well as the trustworthiness. So in Gstaad, being impressive is irrelevant, and being pleasant and discreet is everything. And the last one, which is the most fun one, where you could be a disruptor and you could be as loud as you want, is Courchevel. So Courchevel, 1850. Top 5 places, Cheval Blanc, 1947. It's quiet, intentional, and exclusive. However, I find that this is usually a place where people are already moving within their same circles. So it's not really a place for introductions, but it's a great place for you if you are already hanging out with a particular group and you want to go there together. So Cheval Blanc, again, it's a place for you to go there with your own friends or with a group that you have probably met at another place, but it's not really a place for you to go there and be introduced and try to integrate into a group. So that is more of the social culture there. And the second one you have is Les Zarelles, which is the bar. It attracts families, long-standing guests, and those who value refinement within celebration. The third is Le Cap Horn. Cap Horn is a Courchevel institution which has been around for quite a while, and lunch here often stretches into a very long event. And this is where you can have really long conversations and let it evolve without pressure. The fourth is Bagatelle, Courchevel. And Bagatelle represents visible luxury. So remember I said that you could be very flashy and loud. So this is one of the places where you can be the disruptor. This is where you have loud music, lots of energy, and celebrations dominating here, especially at lunch. So this is a really common place to see birthdays, lots of party celebrations happening, and open warm works socially. So it's also a great place for you to be integrated or be introduced into different groups. The last for Courchevel is Les Caves de Courchevel, which is Les Caves is a legacy nightlife venue. It's high energy, their repeat guests and group dynamics dominate here. So you want to arrive here with intention because they probably have their own groups already. Probably a great place for you to probably come with another group where you met at another place in Courchevel and then go there together. So what is the social landscape of Courchevel? Definitely a great contrast to the first two, Gstaad and St. Moritz. Courchevel is celebratory wealth. So remember I said that there are lots of parties and celebrations. So Courchevel always comes to the top in mind, especially for people living in France, Italy, Switzerland, who wants something that is more open and expressive and where they can just freely party with no restraints in terms of the culture compared to the first two. So this is a great place if you want to celebrate a milestone. And you'll see a lot of new money here, a lot of new money, ultra high net worth individuals, lots of global jet set entrepreneurs, and some ultra high net worth, high spending holiday groups which have already been packaged by an ultra high net worth concierge that specialize in travel and events. So new money is very visible here, I've said that. Old money might exist, but privately. And status is signaled through access and generosity. So Courchevel is, the culture of Courchevel is that it really rewards, because it's French culture, so it really rewards warmth and confidence, but it filters entitlement really quickly. And here are some etiquette and social cues for you to use at these places. Definitely discretion is the entry fee. And avoid this question, like I personally really dislike this question, like what do you do? I think it's really rude to ask someone, especially in the ultra high net worth circles, what do you do? And I feel that's a mistake that a lot of people from the middle class make when they try to break into these circles. The reason here is this: it's not to be condescending in any way, but because these ultra high net worth individuals are so used to people trying to take something from them, so they are very guarded when you ask, what do you do? Because it feels like you're trying to get something out of them. So instead of asking that, always try to look for what value you can add to them, and that will really make you stand out, because most of the people who come into contact with them, especially in the first meeting, they make the mistake of trying to get things from them, but if you really want to stand out, then see how you can add value to these individuals. And most of the time, you would be really surprised that you actually know something that they don't, and they really value that a lot. So that's actually the secret sauce to how you can really gain their trust really fast. Try to think of where you can add value to them, and try to think of what is high value to them, because they are already wealthy. So you want to look at what is wealth to them outside of wealth. So I'll say it again. You want to figure out what is wealth, what is true wealth to them outside of wealth. So it could be anything from health, it could be experiences like traveling, things that money can't buy, going out to space. Like you just have to figure it out. And you'll know when they talk about themselves, and sometimes you don't even have to ask what do you do, because if they really trust you, it would just come up in the conversation. And avoid oversharing, avoid photographing people or rooms excessively. And you could always use some small talk openers like, how have the conditions been today? Do you usually ski this side? Or what's your favorite lunch spots around here? And then pause. And then you just wait for them to reciprocate the conversation. And if it's not there within a few minutes, then just exit cleanly. Like, don't ever push to continue a conversation, because the blunt truth is this: people, they don't owe you their time. So if you don't feel that the conversation is going somewhere, then just exit cleanly and don't take it personally, because they might be in a rush and there are always lots of other ultra high net worth people there. And the next thing is that wardrobe should signal respect, not ego. So fit, cleanliness, and appropriateness matters more than labels. And how you treat the staff there matters more than the watch that you're wearing. Never pitch, never sell in the first meeting, and definitely never force continuation. So if the interaction flows, like, I'm heading to one more place for a drink, feel free to join if you're around, and you could put just something that's like really open-ended like that, and just see if the person would just, I don't really want to use the word catch the bait, but just put that open-ended question and just let the person decide whether they want to join you or not, instead of like asking or forcing, like trying to push. Like, you can really feel it when someone is trying to push you to the next place for a drink, and people definitely don't like that. Okay, so to sum it up, St. Moritz is about lineage and continuity, Gstaad is about trust and discretion, and Courchevel is about high energy and celebration. So you have to understand that different places are social ecosystems, and these are not excluded. So if you respect the ecosystem, as I mentioned, if you respect that particular culture, not just the country's culture, but the culture of that place. You see, even in St. Moritz and Gstaad within Switzerland, different cultures as well. So you have to respect the culture in order to blend in. If you disrupt it, then you're definitely filtered out. Okay, so I have finished speaking about these 3 places. I just want to add on to what I spoke just now. Like, you're the average of the 5 people, right? So I spoke about trying, always elevating the people around you, so that you're also called the dumbest in the room, not dumbest per se, but so that they're always more successful than you, so that you are always compelled to expand and normalize to that level in terms of their perspective and their actions. And that is how you quantum leap really fast in terms of your circles. Yeah, and that's the end of this topic. I know that I said that I would do a live on whiskey. I'm actually still gathering my thoughts on the outline of that. So that would be my next live. So keep a watch for it and stay tuned. And thank you so much for joining me in this live. I'll see you in the next one.